The middle-length discourses of the Buddha. 53. The practice for one in training. Sekha Patipada Sutta. Translated from the Pali by Thanissaro Bhikkhu. I have heard that on one occasion the Blessed One was staying among the Sakyans at Kapilavatthu in the Banyan Park. Now at that time a new reception hall had just been built by the Kapilavatthu Sakyans, and it had not yet been dwelled in by any contemplative, Brahman, or anyone at all in human form. So the Kapilavatthu Sakyans went to the Blessed One and, on arrival, having bowed down, sat to one side. As they were sitting there they said to him, Lord, a new reception hall has just been built by the Kapilavatthu Sakyans, and it has not yet been dwelled in by any contemplative, Brahman, or anyone at all in human form. May the Blessed One be the first to use it. When the Blessed One has used it first, the Kapilavatthu Sakyans will use it afterwards. That will be for their long-term welfare and happiness. The Blessed One acquiesced with silence. Sensing his acquiescence, the Kapilavatthu Sakyans got up from their seats, bowed down to him, circumambulated him, and then went to the new reception hall. On arrival, they spread it all over with felt rugs, arranged seats, set out a water vessel, and raised an oil lamp. Then they went to the Blessed One and, on arrival, having bowed down, stood to one side. As they were standing there they said to him, Lord, the reception hall has been covered all over with felt rugs, seats have been arranged, a water vessel has been set out, and an oil lamp raised. It is now time for the Blessed One to do as he sees fit. So the Blessed One, putting on his robe and taking up his bowl and outer robe, went together with a community of monks to the reception hall. On arrival he washed his feet, entered the hall, and sat with his back to the central post, facing east. The community of monks washed their feet, entered the hall, and sat with their backs to the western wall, facing east, ranged around the Blessed One. The Kapilavatthu Sakyans washed their feet, entered the hall, and sat with their backs to the eastern wall, facing west, ranged around the Blessed One. Then the Blessed One, having spent most of the night instructing, urging, rousing, and encouraging the Kapilavatthu Sakyans with a Dhamma talk, said to Venerable Ananda, Ananda, speak to the Kapilavatthu Sakyans about the person who follows the practice for one in training. My back aches. I will rest it. Venerable Ananda responded, As you say, Lord. Then the Blessed One, having arranged his outer robe folded in four, lay down on his right side in the lion's sleeping posture, with one foot on top of the other, mindful and alert, having made a mental note to get up. Then Venerable Ananda addressed Mahanama the Sakyan, There is the case, Mahanama, where a disciple of the Noble Ones is consummate in virtue, guards the doors to his sense faculties, knows moderation in eating, is devoted to wakefulness, is endowed with 7 qualities, and obtains at will, without trouble or difficulty, the 4 jhanas that constitute heightened awareness and a pleasant abiding in the here and now. And how is the disciple of the Noble Ones consummate in virtue? There is the case where the disciple of the Noble Ones is virtuous. He dwells restrained in accordance with the Patimokkha, consummate in his behavior and sphere of activity. He trains himself, having undertaken the training rules, seeing danger in the slightest faults. This is how the disciple of the Noble Ones is consummate in virtue. And how does the disciple of the Noble Ones guard the doors to his sense faculties? There is the case where the disciple of the Noble Ones, on seeing a form with the eye, doesn't grasp at any theme or variations by which, if he were to dwell without restraint over the faculty of the eye, evil, unskillful qualities such as greed or distress might assail him. He practices for its restraint. He guards the faculty of the eye. He achieves restraint with regard to the faculty of the eye. On hearing a sound with the ear. On smelling an aroma with the nose. On tasting a flavor with the tongue. On feeling a tactile sensation with the body. On cognizing an idea with the intellect, he doesn't grasp at any theme or variations by which, If he were to dwell without restraint over the faculty of the intellect, evil, unskillful qualities such as greed or distress might assail him. He practices for its restraint. He guards the faculty of the intellect. He achieves restraint with regard to the faculty of the intellect. This is how the disciple of the Noble Ones guards the doors to his sense faculties. And how does the disciple of the Noble Ones know moderation in eating? There is the case where the disciple of the Noble Ones, considering it appropriately, takes his food not playfully, nor for intoxication, nor for putting on bulk, nor for beautification, but simply for the survival and continuance of this body, for ending its afflictions, for the support of the holy life, thinking, I will destroy old feelings, of hunger, and not create new feelings, from overeating. Thus I will maintain myself, be blameless, and live in comfort. This is how the disciple of the Noble Ones knows moderation in eating. And how is the disciple of the Noble Ones devoted to wakefulness? There is the case where a disciple of the Noble Ones, sitting and pacing back and forth, cleanses his mind of any qualities that would hold the mind in check. During the first watch of the night, dusk to 10 p.m., sitting and pacing back and forth, he cleanses his mind of any qualities that would hold the mind in check. During the second watch of the night, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., reclining on his right side, he takes up the lion's posture, one foot placed on top of the other, mindful, alert, with his mind set on getting up, either as soon as he awakens or at a particular time. During the last watch of the night, 2 a.m. to dawn, sitting and pacing back and forth, he cleanses his mind of any qualities that would hold the mind in check. This is how the monk is devoted to wakefulness. And how is the disciple of the Noble Ones endowed with 7 qualities? There is the case where the disciple of the Noble Ones has conviction, is convinced of the Tathagata's awakening. Indeed, the Blessed One is worthy and rightly self-awakened, consummate in clear knowing and conduct, well gone, an expert with regard to the world, unexcelled as a trainer for those people fit to be tamed, the teacher of divine and human beings, awakened, blessed. He feels shame at the thought of engaging in bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, mental misconduct. He feels concern for the suffering that results from bodily misconduct, verbal misconduct, mental misconduct. He has heard much, has retained what he has heard, has stored what he has heard. Whatever teachings are admirable in the beginning, admirable in the middle, admirable in the end, that, in their meaning and expression, proclaim the holy life that is entirely complete and pure, those he has listened often, retained, discussed, accumulated, examined with his mind, and well penetrated in terms of his views. He keeps his persistence aroused for abandoning unskillful mental qualities and taking on skillful mental qualities. He is steadfast, solid in his effort, not shirking his duties with regard to skillful mental qualities. He is mindful, endowed with excellent proficiency in mindfulness, remembering and recollecting even things that were done and said long ago. He is discerning, endowed with discernment of arising and passing away, noble, penetrating, leading to the right ending of stress. This is how the disciple of the Noble Ones is endowed with 7 qualities.